Hey there, my name is Randy Zimnock, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss how to structure contract terms to be in your favor. On the last episode, one of the things I spoke about was pre-selling a property while you're waiting for permits. It's a really good strategy to consider, especially that there's not much you could do with the property when it comes to renovations. We just recently did that here. I listed a property for an investor in an as-is stage. We put it on the market, and the biggest thing that I want to cover today is how do we structure the contracts coming in on those type of properties so we could lower our risk of falling out of escrow or losing a lot of time as you're waiting to see if this buyer is going to actually close on the property, right? So that's the main things I want to cover in this episode. So what are some of the things to consider when you're getting contracts, right, for an as-is sale? These honestly would work on any property you're selling, but I want to specifically focus in on an as-is sale here because you have time urgency here working against you, right? So first and foremost, in the situation that we were selling this property, we determined early on that we would allow conventional loan to be used to purchase this property. We preferred cash. However, if someone had a conventional loan, we would be open to it because conventional loans are easier to get approved for properties that need work. We eliminated FHA and we eliminated VA, which are veteran loans, right? We knew that that's not gonna work. So with that said, we were open to receiving those type of offers, right? With conventional loans. So one of those offers we got was with a conventional loan. So first thing and foremost, I wanna get the deposit to at least 3% of the purchase price, right? The higher the deposit, the better, because you have the buyer has more at risk to lose, and I'll get to it later how that could impact them and us in a little bit, right? So higher deposit, the better. Shorter time inspection, right? I absolutely would want to push the buyer to do their inspection with literally maybe about 7 days max, if possible, right? We want to know, okay, is this going to be a go or no, right? The sooner I know that, the better, so we could move on to the next buyer if there is one, right? However, in order for that to be easy and smooth for that buyer to do these inspections, you as the seller have to get your things in order as far as disclosures. Whatever reports you got when you were buying the property and anything else you have that you've done, if you didn't, maybe you did a sewer inspection, maybe you did other permitting research, whatever you have, make sure you have that available so you could deliver that to the next buyer. So that way they could review all the disclosures within a day or two of opening escrow and then do their inspections, do their due diligence, so you can ask them to remove the inspection contingency in a 7-day period. That would be the goal. If they are using a loan, like in this example, absolutely ask to shorten the loan contingency, right? This is the time period that we are allowing them to get fully approved or committed to a loan from their lender. In California, the standard on our contracts is 21 days. Way too long. That is way too long for us to be waiting to see, because what that means is that even though the buyer removes their inspection contingency in 7 days, they still have an additional 14 days that they could back out for a loan reason. We can't have that much time at stake with a buyer when we're having a property, costing us money, and potentially maybe in that time process having our permits approved where we could be renovating the house, but now we're not because we are in contract, right? So we want to shorten that period to about 14 days, maybe max, if possible. So that's why it's still so important. Who is the lender that the buyer is using? Right? And for that purpose, I would actually consider cross-qualifying that buyer with your lender so you are more and more confident about them being able to perform. Another thing is closing. The closing timeline, I would do no longer than 21 days when they have a loan. If it's a cash, I would do 10 days max. if it's a cash buyer. With a loan, 21 days is plenty, especially in California, for that buyer to get the loan. If they can't do it, they have the wrong lender on their team. So that's a problem number one. You probably are not going to want to open escrow with that buyer. So it's inspection 7 days, loan contingency max 14, and close in 21 days, and with a high deposit. Then you are absolutely gonna stick to those timelines. So if you do everything right on your end and you provide the documents and you communicate efficiently, you wanna keep those timelines strictly in place so the buyer starts removing them. Because in 14 days, if they have an inspection contingency in 7, loan contingency in 14, that means that on day 14, you can be asking them to remove all contingencies. So what does that mean? When they remove all contingencies on the property, that means that their deposit goes hard. And what that means is that now you can actually ask for that deposit to be released to you as the owner of the property that's selling the house. And this is crucial because now the buyer has money on the line, and you know if they don't remove contingencies on the day 14 or 15, most likely they're probably not going to close on the property. You're better off moving on to the next buyer than waiting and waiting and waiting for day 21 to come or further and then find out that they can't close. Now you're back to square one. Day 22 comes and now you have to either put the house on the market again, go with a backup buyer, or decide, hey, maybe we'll just keep it, renovate it, and resell it later. And that's how we create a win-win. Analyzing a property before you buy it is obviously very important. However, what I find that most people just do it wrong. And I know that alone, one mistake could cost you tens and thousands of dollars. It could literally cost you your business. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I created a step-by-step property analysis guide sheet to walk you through exactly what to look for to make sure your deal that you're looking at is worth buying. To get the property analysis guide sheet, just go to randyzimnock.com.